welcome to the continuation of our discussion. Okay, and for this time, let's talk about forgetting. Okay, and forgetting refers to partial or total loss of information that we have previously learned. Okay, and bakit ba? No? Why do people forget? Okay, bakit nakakalimot tayo? Okay, there are several theories, okay, that would explain kung bakit um, sometimes, no, we are unable to remember information that we have learned in the past. Okay, so let's talk about the theories of forgetting. Number one, there we have decay theory, interference theory, and theory of motivated forgetting. Okay, so when we talk about decay theory, okay, it claims that our memory, or it claims that memory traces are formed in the brain in the process of learning. Okay, and while the passage of a time, these traces decay when not rehearsed or not in use. Okay, or syempre, your memory would simply fade away. Okay, and this is simply saying that kahit nag-graduate ka pa ng psychology, if you if you are not practicing it, everything will be forgotten. Okay? Or mawawala lang kusa kung hindi mo yan napapractice or nare-rehearse. Okay? That's why some of us, to avoid this kind of decaying information, okay, pumupunta ang ibang tao for seminars, parang to refresh their knowledge. No? Para hindi mawala itong mga napag-aralan sa college. Okay? Yung iba nagma-masters, yung iba nagdo-doctorate, such, no? Excuse me. The other hand is interference theory. Okay? And this states that forgetting occurs dahil other items get in the way in the process of remembering the information, or may nag-interfere per se. No? So, interference could be retroactive or proactive. And when we talk about retroactive interference, it would occur when a new information interfered with the retrieval of a previously learned material. No? And the proactive interference, on the other hand, would occur when an old learning interferes with the retrieval of new information. Okay? So again, retroactive interference would occur when a new information is interfering with the retrieval of a previously learned material. Itong proactive naman, okay, it occurs when an old learning interferes with the retrieval of a new information. Okay? And in the theory of motivated forgetting, okay, the theory says that we can forget what we like to forget. Okay? Or it's like using the theory of psychoanalysis of Sigmund Freud, it's like repression. We repress memories. Okay? So, the individual uses a defense mechanism that is called repression, wherein traumatic or guilt-provoking experiences are pushed into the unconscious, making the person forget them. Okay? And I think there was some question raised before, no? That can we forget what we know? Of course. Ito yung theory na nagsasabi na we can forget, okay, whatever we like to forget. Okay? Through the use of repression. as a theory theorized by Sigmund Freud. No? Now, let's talk about memory disorders. We have amnesia and dementia. When we talk about amnesia, I know you're very familiar with this term already. No? It refers to the impairment in memory in the absence of a general loss of intellectual function. Okay, and it could be caused by brain damage due to accident, okay, or a traumatic experience, okay, or a psychological experience. Okay, and when we talk about amnesia, there are two types. We have retrograde and anterograde. And retrograde amnesia would refer to the inability to remember information or experiences prior to an accident that caused the brain damage or the traumatic experience. Okay, again, it's if a person is suffering from retrograde amnesia, okay, they are unable to remember information or experience prior to the accident that caused the brain damage or the traumatic experience. Anterograde amnesia, on the other hand, would refer to the inability to remember information or experiences after an accident that caused the brain damage or the traumatic experience. Okay? Pero, in anterograde amnesia, no, learned information and experiences before the accident or the traumatic experiences can be remembered. So, siguro may mga nakita na kayo, no, na mga pelikula na lahat ay nakalimutan na yung mga nakaraan. Okay? And that's retrograde amnesia. No? Yung mga nakaraang experiences nila sa buhay, burado lahat. But then they can still form a new learning or experience. Okay? Into sa anterograde amnesia naman, they can still remember. Okay? Kung ano yung nangyari before the accident or before the traumatic experience. Okay? But then they have a difficulty learning new information. Okay? Dementia, on the other hand, would refer to the loss of memory and general decline in intellectual function brought about by degradation of brain cells. Okay? And one of the common causes of dementia among the elderly or mga tumatanda na, no, is Alzheimer's disease. Okay? And the problem lies with the short-term and long-term memory. For example, an individual, okay, may ask about the time or date, but after a while, no, maya-maya, makakalimutan. Okay? And in its severe cases, the person suffering from dementia may not be able to recognize family members. Okay? So that's the difference ng dementia and amnesia. That in dementia, it's because or caused or brought about by the degradation of brain cells. Okay? Usually ito yung mga sakit ng mga tumatanda na mga tao. Okay? Now, if we have problems when it comes to forgetting, let's talk about ways in improving our memory. Okay, so we have here mnemonics, imagery, organization, rehearsal, and elaborative rehearsal. Okay, and mnemonics, I think you're very familiar with this already. That, of course, it refers to an strategy, okay, that is used to improve our memory, thereby minimizing forgetting. Okay, and some of these strategies would include rehearsal, imagery, and organization. That alam niyo naman siguro yung mnemonic ng ano no ng rainbow. Okay? Roy G. Biv. Okay? So yun yung colors. Those letters would represent the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, and such. Imagery, on the other hand, okay, would refer to the mental representation of objects. Like if we form mental images, okay, we can easily, of course, understand situations. Like when reading a book, no, it's important that we associate it with some images, okay, for better learning, okay, to improve memory. Organization, on the other hand, is the systemic storing of information in memory. And in some research, it is said that long-term memory is like a huge library. Okay, unless the information is stored in organized fashion, okay, you will not be able to retrieve an item when you need it. Okay, and of course, organization of thought. Okay, it's easier to retrieve information, of course, no. Pero pag ang tao with exclusion naman sa mga tao talagang nagkakaroon ng psychological problems that they cannot really organize things out. Okay? Minsan, ang kanilang napag-aralan is being left out or nag parang decay. Okay? It could be decayed. Okay? And rehearsal, of course, practice. No? Or, yes, doing it again and again, okay, would, of course, improve memory. Okay? And rehearsal would help us retain information for a longer period of time. Okay? Now, in the elaborative rehearsal, okay, this is a technique that we use um, to encode information into our long-term memory by considering its meaning and, of course, associating it with other information that is already stored in our long-term memory. So we have here method of loci, okay, or locations. Okay, so these are ideas or things to be remembered that are connected to objects, okay, located in a familiar location. Okay, for example, when we talk about Ifugao, ano ang meron doon? We are talking about Banawi Rice Terraces. Okay? For Baguio City, it's considered as the city of pines or malamig doon. Okay? Ito namang peg word method, okay? Ideas or things to be remembered are connected to specific words. No? They are connected to specific words. And in rhyming, basically, this is about songs, no, or phrases. Okay, and these are informations to be remembered um, that is arranged in rhymes. Okay, usually yung sabi natin kanta. Itong initial letter, on the other hand, okay, like for example, the first letter of each word in a list is used to make a sentence. Like, I remember yung nung elementary kami, no? Yung pag memorize ng planets, no? Binigay itong, my very eager mother just sent us 9 pizzas. Yun no, meron pang Pluto noon. Naalala ko hanggang ngayon yung planets na yan. So, you know, isang sentence, pero every start or every letter from the start of each word represents, okay, certain area. For example, itong my very eager mother just sent us 9 pizzas. So it represents Mercury, Venus, okay, Earth, Mars, okay, Jupiter, ano bang S? Saturn, okay? Uranus, and Pluto. Pero wala na yata ang Pluto ngayon. Okay? So, um, siguro maghanap na ng ibang uh, sentence na pwedeng ipalit. Okay? Alright, so, and there are more, okay, ways in improving memory. These are just some of um, the ways. Okay, no? Now, let's talk about thinking. When we talk about thinking, it says here that not all mental activity, okay, or activities can be considered as thinking. And to determine thinking from non-thinking mental activity, two conditions must be taken into consideration. And these are the following. No? It must be directed towards the attainment of truth. Okay? And it must be an elaboration of past possessed knowledge. Na hindi lang basta-basta. No? Uh, Anong iniisip mo? Okay? Kung meron bang bulaklak dun sa langit. Okay? Hindi yung thinking. That's just an imagination. Okay? Or daydreaming. Okay? Again, when you are thinking, it must be directed towards the attainment of truth. Or you are trying to research. No? Another one is, it must be an elaboration of past possessed knowledge. Or like, you're trying to explain what you have learned from the past, integrating it to new ideas. Okay? Now, let's talk about thinking creatively. It says here that divergent rather than convergent thinking, okay, seeking multiple possibilities, that you are not stagnant. Okay? You don't stay to one area, but you discover. Okay? High levels of knowledge and interest in the relevant domain, sees problems as potentially complex, that you are not only solving problems to specific solutions. Okay? Now, typically restructures problems and many more. Okay? Now, let's talk about intelligence. And intelligence, okay, is a person's capacity to acquire knowledge, okay, and apply knowledge, and lastly, engage in abstract reasoning. Okay, that when you're trying to acquire, you learn and understand the topics. Okay, and by understanding that, you were able to apply it by solving problems. Okay, and engage in, of course, abstract reasoning. Now, according to some people, no, intelligence quotient, okay, is of course the score that you get on an intelligence test. Okay, and I think some of you have undergone, okay, intelligence test before entering UC. And originally, okay, hindi pa about sa sa intelligence test, no? It was just about the quotient or ratio, or the IQ is equal to our mental age over our chronological age, and multiply that to 100. Pero ngayon, scores are calibrated against norms of actual population scores, or we are there are different normings that you will be learning this when you have your statistics, no? Different norms that in certain or there are comparisons already na kinuhang samples, no? And in this picture, you could see that there's a normal curve, no? Now, in this normal curve, it shows that the average, okay, of IQ of majority of people is that within the 90 to 110. Okay, yun yung normal na ano natin. Tingnan natin dito. It says here that under 70, okay, is on the extreme, no? Lower extreme. It says there that these are people who are mentally retarded. Okay, pero there are words that are used already today, no? Para kasing discriminatory na itong retarded na ito. Pero ito yung ginamit dati, no? So, kapag ang IQ ng isang tao is within 70 to 80, they are borderline retarded. Okay? And 80 to 90, they are low average. Okay? As I've mentioned earlier, dun sa normal distribution is that from 90 to 110, okay? Dun napakarami na tao. Okay? Karamihan ay and baka karamihan sa atin, okay? Kakaunti lang sa atin talaga yung nasa over 130 ang IQ. Okay? That is very superior. And you could see that from the mentally retarded or under 70, there are 2.2%, and same with the over 130, which is very superior, 2.2%. So mababang mga, or kukunti lang ang mga taong ganito, okay, as compared to those people having an IQ of 90 to 110. Okay, but then anyways, you try to check on this, no? Now let's talk about Gardner's theory of intelligence. Sabi niya, it's a new approach, okay? And it's also called the multiple intelligence, right? He argued that psychometric tests would address only linguistic and logical, plus some aspects of spatial intelligence and other forms have been entirely ignored. Okay? Sabi niya, bakit pinagtutuunan lang? Ang IQ ay hindi dapat pinagtutuunan lang when it comes to verbal and numbers. Okay? So nag-propose siya ng daming intelligence, no? We have musical, logical, math intelligence, linguistics, naturalistic, intrapersonal, interpersonal, and bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Okay? So when we talk about musical, what are the characteristics of it? Okay, people who are very intelligent on this, on musical, no, they have the sensitivity to nonverbal sounds in the environment, and that of course includes memory or melody. I mean, and tone. Okay, they also have awareness of patterns in rhythm, pitch, and timbre. I don't know if you've watched the movie. What's the title? August Rush, I think, no? Na siya ay ang bata ay anak ng mga musician, okay? And that kid is very intelligent in music, okay? That he can associate sounds of trains, okay? Of horns, no? Napakagaling na sa music, okay? And if the student, or if the child is into music, okay, or musical, of course they love to listen to music, they play music, okay, and not only that, okay, they also write songs, okay, they create musical mnemonics and such. And when we talk about logical math intelligence, they love to, of course, create and solve logical problems. Okay, they have an understanding of number and abstract patterns. The use of reason in recognizing and solving problems. Okay, and of course, these people, okay, usually magagaling sa numbers talaga. Of course, ganun din ang pinipili nilang course. Of course, syempre, sabi natin kung ano yung pinagkaka-interesan natin, okay, yun din yung kukunin natin na course. Kasi, doon tayo mas hiyang. No? In the linguistic intelligence naman, they think in words. Okay? the use of language and words in many different forms to express complex meanings. I myself is not good when it comes to language or linguistic intelligence. Um, but then, of course, I'm trying. Okay, people who are very intelligent when it comes to language would tell jokes. Okay, not only that, they are good in riddles. Okay, they also are considered as writers and readers, and many more. The naturalist intelligence, on the other hand, is the person is very sensitive to the natural world. That they see connections and patterns within the plant and the animal kingdom. Okay? Ito yung mga usually mga zoologists, mga scientists, and such. Okay? So, now we have also intrapersonal intelligence, that they have sensitivity to one's feelings and moods, knowing one's own strengths and weaknesses, the use of self knowledge, okay, and to guide decision making and goal setting. All right? Wait lang ha. Now, when we talk about interpersonal intelligence naman, is the ability to sense the feelings and moods of other people. Of course, um, these people would love to meet with friends. Okay, they lead, they share, they mediate, and many more. Okay, they are very cooperative to other people. Okay, they work as an effective team members. And lastly, the bodily kinesthetic intelligence is the use of our body to communicate and solve problems. But then, in some areas, no, ito yung isang parang criticism kay Howard Gardner na ito bang bodily kinesthetic is really an intelligence, or it's just an special talent. Okay, but then anyway, bodily kinesthetic is the individual's ability to play sports and be physically active. Okay, the use of body language, do crafts and mechanical projects, dance, act, or mime. Ito yung mga magagaling mga artista, kunwari. No? Or mga artists natin using dancers and such. Okay? Using facial expressions and the like. Alright? So, that would end our discussion for today. And if you have questions, okay, you can post it in the comment section and I'll try to answer it. Okay, thank you and God bless.